Hey there, math fans, or maybe not so much fans. I'm making a little video to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing this week and how grades will be done, because I know a lot of y'all are concerned with that. Let's start with the grades. Y'all have noticed we're not taking as many grades. We're doing that because there are a lot of y'all who have a lot of other duties that you have to do, and we want to allow for that and make sure that you get the basics. But many of you have time for more than the basics, and we'll make sure we have an opportunity to do some of that too. Okay, I'm hoping that as you're dealing in this less grade situation that you'll begin to learn and to see how nice it is to learn for the sake of knowledge itself. For the sake of knowing things, that's really pretty a good thing. And I know sometimes when you're 13 or 14 it doesn't seem like that, but it really is. The grade isn't going to last all that long, but the knowledge will last forever. So please try to apply yourself and really learn the stuff. You know, that way you'll be ahead of all the other folks, which I'm good because I want y'all to be great. Okay, grades. Every week there'll be one grade that you have to do. It'll usually be a quiz. It'll usually be on the hub, and it'll be graded there. Some of y'all have had some difficulties with this. Just email me if you know what it is. So if you have difficulties, unless you tell me, I'm going to take the grade that the hub gives you. Now, for example, this week, one girl put, the answer was supposed to be 3, and she put x equals 3. Well, that's okay. You know, at the end of the test, make sure you check to see what the answers the test expected and what the answers that you have. It'll give it to you. If there's something you'd like to call to my attention, then go ahead and email me about it, and I will be glad to look at it and see if it's something that you can have credit for. Some of the things you can, some of the things you can't. A lot of them you can. You should be able to tell. So there'll be the one grade that you're required to do. It's usually a test grade, and it's usually on a quiz, and then it's usually on the hub. Then there'll be several others that can add to your grade should you do them. For example, checking in. We want to know that y'all are all, you know, coming along and doing fine during the week. So during each week. So each week, everybody needs to check in, and you can do that either by email or by attending one of the Teams meetings, which are listed on the class website. That'll be some points for you. It'll count kind of like extra credit points. There will also be other items that vary from week to week. For example, this week we're going to have a little experiment for both all the algebras and the geometries. And it'll be kind of fun. I hope you like it. But the point value for each one of them will be listed on the web page for the week. Things that if you don't do the quiz, you get a 0, you get a missing. So make sure you do the quiz. Then the others will be excused if you don't do them. So you don't need to feel that it's necessary to do them all. If you have time, do it, because I mean, knowledge is power, right? And you get more knowledge, you get more power. A thing about the quizzes, some of y'all are just going in and taking the quizzes and making a line. Earth to class. Okay, if you learn the stuff before the quiz, you do better on the quiz. So I strongly encourage you to do a goodly amount of the assignments, because there will be workbook assignments each week, which don't count for a grade. But again, knowledge is power. That doesn't count for a grade. If you'll do those first, then the quiz will be easy and you won't have to worry about the grade. Not planning on doing makeups, so learn it first, then take the quiz, and then if you need some help or just because you want the knowledge, go ahead and do some of the extra stuff. Okay, the extra stuff for this week, it's listed, but let me give you a little bit of a heads up about it. You're going to need 2 items, and a ruler and some graph paper. The 2 items that you need to be things that have straight sides that are parallel and perpendicular to the base and will hold water. For example, HEB, half and half, leche de crema. Yes, this will work. It has parallel sides that are perpendicular to the base, and it will hold water. Now, if you're going to use this, you would want to cut the top off and do it. So that will work for your water container. Let's see. This will work for your water container. This is a vase that has straight sides. It's cylindrical. It has some nice rocks in it that my mother turned and polished. Isn't that nice? So if I wanted to use this, I'd take the rocks out first. Some other things. A pot. This will work. Okay? Does it meet the criteria? It does. It has sides that are straight, parallel, and perpendicular to the base. Look at this. A doggy bone container. Now, if I take the lid off, the dogs are probably going to come, and I'm probably going to have to give them up. Yeah, I hear the dogs coming. Okay, so if I want to use this, does it meet the criteria? It has straight sides up into here. You want it just up here. Straight sides perpendicular to the base. You take the doggy bones out first, though. I suspect if you have doggy bones, you have a dog that'll help you with that. So you need a container that'll keep water in. Then you need something that'll keep water out. For example, this is salt shaker. It needs to be, if you put a vertical line of symmetry, it needs to be symmetrical, roughly in 3 dimensions. Like when I turn this, it still looks the same. Not all crooked. For example, this owl isn't gonna look the same as you turn it around, okay? This salt shaker will. So, what's the owl? Keep the water out, and you're going to put it into something that will keep the water in. For example, this will keep the water in, and your item needs to fit down into it, which this one does. So you have a thing that'll keep the water out and one that'll keep the water in. That one S needs to have parallel sides that are perpendicular to the base, so straight sides. And then the more interesting this one is, the more fun it'll be. If it's plain old straight, it'll still work and it'll still, but try to find something that's not plain, that's not boring. Okay, so you could do this and it needs to fit down into it. Some other ideas of things that you can do, well, look here. Okay, this, it's a flower pot and it has, it's symmetrical, vertical line of symmetry in 3 dimensions, but it won't hold water out. It's got a hole in the bottom. So you either have to plug up the hole or find something else. So the inside container that's going to go into the other one has to hold the water out. This one doesn't, so it wouldn't work unless you do something about that hole. Okay, some other things you can do, a Coca-Cola bottle. Coca-Cola bottles are fun, they're interesting. When we're going to do this in class, we were going to actually use a Coca-Cola bottle because see, it has curves, but it still is symmetrical about a vertical line as you turn it in 3 dimensions. Another thing that might be fun, here's a vase that I got at Yellowstone at the main lodge there where Old Faithful Geyser is. There's an artist, a potter who works there. Some of y'all have been there, I know, and named Carl Sheehan. And he makes those right there. And he made this, and it will hold the water out. So as long as I have a container that it'll go in completely, then that'll work. Say, for example, I think it'll go in the dog bones. Oh, yes, indeed. So it'll all go, it won't go quite all the way. Not quite all the way. So I need to find something taller. And I have something, but I'm not going to get that out right now. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, be careful with your stuff when you're doing this. Like I was just not careful enough. Okay, so what you're going to need then is a container that has straight sides that are parallel, perpendicular to the base, and will hold water. And you'll need something that's symmetrical in 3 dimensions. It doesn't have to be round. It could be square as well. Like, for example, you could use this if you put it into a bigger carton, and it would go all the way down, and it would not be the same profile all along, and that's just fine. That would work just fine. So you'll need one to go in that will keep water out, one to keep water in. Then you're going to need a ruler and some graph paper. And here's an interesting thing, at least I think it's interesting. Look what I made. You know I teach sewing too, right? I've mentioned that from time to time, I'm sure. So this is going to be a handy dandy little mask. And just as soon as I can get this math stuff lined out, I'm going to do some lessons for my sewing class on how to make this without a sewing machine. I made this one with a sewing machine, but I'm going to have videos on how to make it yourself out of things you have around the house, assuming you have a needle and thread and can find some old fabric. We'll make it for you and show you how to make it nice and sturdy and functional without a sewing machine. So stay tuned for that, sports fans. Okay, and here endeth the kinda lesson. Oh, wait. The criteria for what you're supposed to do with all these containers will be posted on the website, and it's not quite done yet, so it's not there yet, but it will be soon. Okay, so there ended the not really lesson. Y'all stay safe.